In this video, I'm revealing 7 things professional footballers do that you don't, from on-field secrets to training habits. By the end, you'll know exactly what the pros did to get so good. Because no matter how hard you train, not knowing these tricks could be the difference between you making it or not. So let's find out how many of these you're missing right now. Starting with habit number 1. This is a professional footballer and that is an amateur footballer. I mean, technically they're both me. Both of these players are about to receive a pass and I want you to see if you can spot the difference in how they control the ball. First, the pro. This player takes their touch away from the defender, leaving them in the dust. However, the amateur isn't so smooth. But why did he get tackled and the pro didn't? Well, it wasn't luck. And what caused it is the same reason that the fast kid with the bad touch will never go far in football. As the ball comes to the pro, he lets it go across his body, controlling the ball with his back foot and playing it forwards, away from the defender. This is simple football. However, the amateur takes the touch with his front foot and the defender takes it easily. But why make such a silly mistake? You see, this player's weak foot is so bad that taking a touch with it would have been embarrassing. But the pro's weak foot was perfect, meaning he could use either foot. However, this first habit has nothing to do with weak foots. The reason the fast kid with the bad touch was never good was because he had a bad touch, a weakness in his game. Think about Cristiano Ronaldo. Would you call him a good passer? Yeah, it may not be his best trait, but when he needs to pass, he can pull it off consistently at a high level. Just like him, there's not a single professional player with a weakness holding their game back, because if there was, they would get destroyed on the pitch. So if you have a weakness in your game right now, whether it's your first touch or your sprint speed, here's how to fix it. Start by figuring out exactly what your weakness is and why it's happening. Are your shots constantly flying over? You're probably leaning too far back when you shoot. Start spending more time in individual training working on this weakness until you raise it to the level of the rest of your game. You don't need to go from barely scoring at all to elite level shooting. Just take it from a 1 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10 so it stops holding you back. Making the skill better than a 5 out of 10 could make you even worse, and I'll break down why that is later. But now that you know professional players have no weaknesses, let's move on to. And to explain exactly what it is, try and spot what the player does in this situation which makes him an elite footballer. I'll give you a hint, it wasn't the shot. And after learning the secret myself, my game went to a whole new level. Here's what it is. This player's in a ton of open space. He could go closer to the goal or play it out wide, but he decides to shoot from the most impossible of distances. And what he's showing is the self-belief that it takes to become an elite player. He took a risk and it paid off. You watching right now, if your team won a free kick just outside the box, would you ask to take it? Or would you let someone else go? Because you could miss and let the team down. If that's something you would think, it's not your fault. Most players do it, but that's why most players never go pro. Every professional player is so confident, they will do things almost no one else will. And they're not afraid if it goes wrong. Because if you did mess up, you didn't fail. You learned a lesson, and coaches will choose players who are more confident on the field over players who are afraid to take risks. But just knowing this and actually doing it are two different things. And one of the biggest parts of the system, learning how to turn every single mistake into rapid improvement. Here's what that looks like. If you get past the ball and you need to quickly play around to your winger, but it hits the wrong part of your foot and goes to the other team, 90% of players would get mad at themselves. But what you need to do is see this as an opportunity to get better. Now that you know you're not great at one-touch passes, why not find a wall and practice them 100 times a day for the next week? Why not go on YouTube and learn the technique so the next time you get past the ball, you do it perfectly. And suddenly, every time you make a mistake, you get better. Mistakes aren't something you avoid. Instead, they're a hack, helping you improve faster than everyone else. But it's still only the second hack of this video, and we still have 5 more things to break down that professional players do that you probably don't. So with that in mind, let's move on to habit 3. Behind me is an amateur footballer and pro doing the exact same drill. But what if I told you just by the way they're training, the pro is gonna see a lot more improvement than the amateur, even though they're doing the exact same exercise? Because improving is not about what drills you do or how long you train for. The only thing that matters is how hard you work. The pro is putting everything he can into this drill, while the amateur hasn't even broke a sweat. But hard work isn't the third habit. I'm sure you already work really hard and don't see results. So here's the tricks the pros know about hard work that could change your game forever. Football is the biggest sport in the world, and if you're a pro who's not improving, there's thousands of players ready to take your spot on the team just like that. Get lazy and you've just lost your contract. But the same applies for an amateur player trying to reach that level. Just go to a trial with a decent club and you'll see hundreds of kids your age trying to make the team just like you. The only way to make sure you're the one that gets signed is by treating every game, every training, and every trial as if they were your last, and leaving nothing on the field. So not only are you improving when you train alone, but you impress every coach you see by working as hard as the best players in the world. However, actually doing this is easier said than done. Training this hard every day can lead to soreness and injuries very quickly. So let's go to habit 4 to reveal how the pros are able to train hard week in, week out, and exactly how you can too. Have you ever played a game when you feel sick? Have you ever tried to train when you're tired? Have you ever played football with an injury? I'm sure you probably have. And even pros play through things like this, but the difference between them and you is how often they do feel these problems. Here's what I mean. If you're anything like me, you're never feeling 100% when you play, whether that's sickness or soreness. But for the best players in the world, if they're not 100%, they could get dropped from the team, and this is bad. Which is why the fourth thing that pros do, which you don't, is treating their bodies like a machine, so they're always at the peak of their game. A professional footballer lives like a car. If you gave a car the right gas, cleaned it regularly, and never crashed it, it'll drive exactly like it should. Like a car, a pro gives their body the right fuel to keep themselves in the best condition. And there's 4 things they do every day which help them do this. Number 1, diet. If your body's like a car, the diet is the fuel keeping it going. There's a reason professional clubs hire tons of chefs and personal coaches to make sure their players eat well. 2, sleep. If you've ever heard about Ronaldo hiring a personal sleep coach and taking 5 naps a day, not only is this all true, but you probably realize you don't take sleep seriously enough. And that's because you most likely don't. Sleep is where your body spends the most time recovering. If you get this part wrong, you'll always feel sore and tired on the pitch. The next secret is recovery. Sleep and diet may be the most important things to do, but pros take things like saunas, ice plunges, and massages very seriously. If you can't afford any of those things, which I wouldn't blame you for, focus on rolling out, stretching, and cold showers, which a lot of pros do as well. 4, rest. The reason professional footballers are never seen playing in the streets or with friends is because as soon as their training is done, they go home to complete the second phase, the rest period. If you constantly push your body, you won't improve. You'll only wear yourself out. And not giving your body enough time to rest could be one of the biggest mistakes holding you back from getting better at football. So improve those 4 areas of your life and you'll start to notice how good you feel every time you step on the pitch. All right, habit number 5, understand your game. A huge mistake that I want you to avoid is trying to make all your weaknesses become strengths. That may sound confusing, but I'll explain. I'm gonna name a bunch of footballers right now and I want you to tell me what their biggest strength is. I'll explain why this matters so much in a minute. But if I said Haaland, would you say strength? If I said Messi, would you say dribbling? And last one, Mbappe, I would have said speed. But Harris, why does any of that matter? Mbappe's biggest strengths are speed and finishing, right? That makes sense, since he's a forward. But imagine if I told Mbappe to go and work on his defending. Wouldn't that be pointless? How's defending gonna make him the best striker in the world? Which is why understanding your game is what every pro has done in specific details that I bet you haven't. I'm a winger, so in my trainings, I work on 1v1s, first touch, shooting to improve attacking. I don't work on headers, tackling, or diving. So instead of spending your time trying to get good at shooting when you're a center back, instead work on something I call X Factor, which is that one skill that sets you apart from the rest, like Mbappe's speed or Haaland's athleticism. Your X Factor makes you unique, and training it consistently can make you world class in your position. Whether you're a midfielder with elite through balls or a winger with unbeatable 1v1s. That can take you way further than a mediocre, balanced game ever would. And from a secret that not many people are talking about to something you've probably been told 1,000 times, even though you're still not doing it. Let's get into habit 6, which is something I didn't understand myself until almost too late. I used to lose the ball almost every time I got given it. My coach hated me, my teammates hated me, and honestly, I hated myself. But that all changed once I realized exactly why I was getting tackled in the first place. What's crazy is that almost every low-level player makes this mistake, while the pros have learned how to fix it. Just watch this play. Both footballers receive the pass with a defender on their back. As the pro takes a turn in the right direction, he escapes the defender and runs away. However, the amateur turns right into the guy. This is the view the amateur player had when he was passed the ball. And this is the view of the pro. When I was 16, I was the player looking forward and not the one looking back. Turns out, if I had learned the skill of scanning earlier in my career, I would have improved a lot faster, which is why I'm teaching it to you right now. But hold on a second. I'm sure you're probably checking your shoulders already. However, the best players in the world do it up to 8 times before they receive the ball. Are you doing it that much? Scanning 8 times versus 2 times is literally the difference between the best in the world and an average player. But what does it do and why will it help you improve instantly? Well, the higher level you play, the faster the game is, meaning you'll be under pressure very fast. And if you're not scanning before you get the ball, making early decisions, you're screwed. Every professional player knows how to scan properly. Here's what they're looking for. First, pressure. Is there anybody close to you that you need to avoid once you have the ball? 2, space. Where can you attack after you get the ball to move forward? Third, options. Look for players on your team that are open, that you can plan to pass to as soon as you get the ball. Scanning your shoulders is a tough skill to master, but training it is actually easy. If you want to get better, find a player in the same position as you and watch a full match replay of one of their games. Do this for 20 to 30 minutes, pretending you are the player. So just before they get the ball, pause the game and see what options you have. Should you dribble, pass, shoot, then press play and see if you make the same decision as the player on screen. And not just that, practice scanning in your training games and pick up. The more you do it, the more of a habit it becomes. And now you know how to stop losing the ball so much. Let's move on to the 7th and final habit and break down what the players are doing in this video that's world class.
Yeah, always a threat at set pieces.
In 2020, during COVID, no fans could come to watch the games, and that meant the viewers could hear everything the players were saying to each other, and the communication here is non-stop.
Alphonso Davies down the line for Perisic.
If you haven't guessed by now, the 7th thing that the pros do that you don't is communication, but not just communication. Play me! I'm talking about relentless, play me, I'm through, play me! Commanding, play me! Loud talk on the field. Not only will it help you make better decisions, but if you can learn this skill, you'll instantly stand out in team training, games, and every single trial. A player who communicates is seen as confident on the field. I don't think there's an easier way to stand out in a football match than simply communicating. And you can start doing this straight away in your next training or game. You may think it'll look silly or cocky, but don't worry about that, because it's one of the 7 things I shared today that separate amateur from pros. Just knowing these things without taking action correctly is what holds 99% of footballers back. To become a professional academy baller as fast as possible, you need more than knowledge, which is why I created the Player Accelerator. It's a training program and community that breaks down every secret that top players are using in their training to go from Sunday League amateurs to standout academy ballers in just 90 days. Just like my students Daniel, Kai, Malachi, Siad, Dylan, and many others who use the Player Accelerator to sign for Pro Academy. If you want to check it out, just click the first link in the description.